So, can you explain how butyrate helps with the gut lining and with leaky gut?
Yeah. Um, many years ago, when I first started talking about leaky gut back in like 2012, 2011, it was thought that there was these rubber bands that keep your cells together, called tight junctions, and these tight junctions would get broken or loose and lax, and then food or toxins or particles that were supposed to be inside your gut but not inside your body would flow freely into the body. And our immune system doesn't fly with the immune system. It gets very pissed, and that's when a lot of cross reactivity and autoimmunity happens. It's also where chronic, like, daily inflammation can come from. And so there was this idea 10, 15 years ago that you could just focus on the tight junctions. You could somehow seal them up and make them strong again, and then you would not have leaky gut again. And I think at the time it was cutting edge and it was the right information. But since then, we've had another decade of research, and the research has really exploded. And there's articles on you can go to the Wayback Machine where you can see articles on Harvard and Stanford. And I have screenshots of these because they were calling me a quack back then, saying that leaky gut isn't real. And now we have a ton of research showing that leaky gut precedes basically every chronic disease. Like, there's an association. It's either a comorbidity or it's part of the process of developing every single chronic disease. So now the research on leaky gut and the gut has exploded, especially the last 4 years. And what we know now is that there's not just like our bodies, like, think about it. Like, our bodies are very complex. They're very well built. There's not going to be just one little thing that could go wrong and then boom, chronic disease just takes over your body. There's a lot of different layers that would protect the body from the story that I told about toxins or even like healthy bugs going into the body unchecked. And so what we know now is that there's at least 5 layers, and inside of each of those layers are like sort of sub layers that sort of create this full gut defense system and keep it from becoming a leaky gut scenario, where we begin to, like I said, create autoimmunity, where we begin to have, food sensitivities to everything, not just foods that have immunogenic potential, but also just like beef and kale and strawberries, like normal stuff. And so what we're finding, at least what I found, is that butyrate is connected to all those layers of the gut. And if you have enough butyrate production, if everything we talked about was happening perfectly, like you said, like if every step, like along the way of your digestion, was happening well, which is unlikely, uh, you would have a plentiful amount of butyrate. Butyrate would be supporting the health of your gut, and leaky gut would not be. It wouldn't really be a thing, probably, unless there was a big injury in some regard or a very big toxin exposure or something big happened.
Mhm.
Um, but what we're seeing is that potentially, because butyrate is connected to all 5 layers, and because it's typically really depressed in the Western society, just due to everything we've talked about so far, that this creates this cocktail to have leaky gut, where our gut defenses are way down, all the layers are way down. Then the tight junctions do get messed up and broken, and our immune system does get very pissed, and it does send out systemic inflammation signals all day long, every day. And that cocktail of issues going wrong will manifest wherever your genes are the weakest. So if you have a family history of IBS, congratulations, you have IBS. If your family also has a history of cancer, you'll probably have cancer. If you have a family history of Alzheimer's, or you pick wherever, everybody has weakness in their genes. It's no one gets out of this alone. Um, but that's how it kind of unfolds. And then later on, sometimes it's months, most times it's years later, you start to develop these other chronic diseases, and you're like, man, how did I get here? And it happened, years prior in your gut.